Hey, what's up everybody, Shido here, and I just got out from seeing Transformers Age of Extinction. And the first thing I'm going to say is, holy crap, that was a long movie. The movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes long. The movie was better than I expected it to be. Going into it, I didn't have hopes set too high, with it being Michael Bay and all. I've never been a big fan of the designs of the characters, especially used for the robots. Like previous Transformer films, the humans were still most of the focus of the film, because, you know, a film about giant alien robots, of course we'd rather see what the humans are doing, right? Right. The bright side here is that the cast is probably, I'd say, 10 times better than the first 3 films combined. Mark Wahlberg does a pretty darn good job, I'd say. The movie was much darker than I expected. The Autobots especially were different in this one, but at least it made more sense than the previous films. In Dark of the Moon, when Optimus Prime and the Autobots come back, and Prime suddenly says something like, "We will kill them all," as a big fan of Optimus Prime, it upset me quite a bit, actually. I mean, we grew up with a kind and noble Optimus Prime, and that line, it just didn't seem like something that he would say. In this new movie, it makes a lot more sense, though. The Autobots are being hunted by humans. Basically, they've been betrayed by the people that they fought to protect, and they're essentially sold off to a high-tech company for their parts and metal. Naturally, the Autobots and Optimus have a right to be angry and bitter. I mean, poor Ratchet, for example, who ironically gets more lines in this movie than numbers 2 and 3 combined, is not only hunted down, blown apart, and killed, but then melted down. The movie was definitely better than I thought it would be. I really went into this feeling kind of negative about the movie because the previous films, while they weren't terrible, they certainly weren't great either. I mean, I did like the first film, and the second film, Revenge of the Fallen, I think I liked more than I probably should have. And Dark of the Moon definitely had a better storyline than the previous film. Even though the things they did with Optimus in that movie were enough to kind of make me not like the film as much. I don't know, I guess because I'm such a huge fan of Optimus Prime. Lines like, "We will kill them all," and then later when he's fighting Sentinel and he begs for his life, that was just enough to ruin the film for me. Age of Extinction was definitely a step up for me anyways. I still hated the way the characters looked. I mean, Hound was a battle-hungry, fat old robot smoking a cigar. He looked nothing like his G1 counterpart, that's for sure. And the Autobot Drift I thought looked ridiculous, and they made him sound like he was Oriental or whatever, and would even call Prime Sensei. Then they had another guy, I think his name was Crosshair, and honestly he talked and acted more like a Decepticon than an Autobot. And then of course Bumblebee returns, and wouldn't you know, he still can't talk. I guess they just don't want to pay a voice actor. I did like what they did with Galvatron though. It's basically Megatron coming back to life as Galvatron, but I thought he was like, oh, it's Galvatron, he's made by humans. Well, it turns out that Megatron manipulated the humans into making him a new body. It worked for me. It was definitely very Decepticon-ish and something that Megatron would do, so, you know, it worked. And now Lockdown. He was the main villain for the films, besides the humans that were hunting the Autobots, of course. And he wasn't too bad. He was better than I thought he would be. What I liked most about him, though, was that he was hired by the creator of the Transformers, who I'm going to assume is going to be the Quintessons, or at least Michael Bay's version of them. They hired him to basically hunt down Optimus Prime for them. And now we move on to the Dinobots. Yeah, it's funny how all the trailers just about show off the Dinobots, and it just so happens that they only appear in, I'd say, probably the last 15 to 20 minutes of the movies. And they really didn't even look like the Dinobots. I mean, Grimlock was there, or at least we're going to assume it was Grimlock, even though none of the Dinobots actually seem to have names in this one. We had one that looked like maybe was the Swoop counterpart, but he definitely wasn't a pterodactyl, or Pteranodon or whatever. He looked more like a Chimera or something. They had the Triceratops, who I don't know what they're going to name him in this. I think I heard that they kept the names Grimlock and Snarl instead of Slag, Sludge, and Swoop, of course. I think, I know that they renamed Slag to Slug, because I think Slag was a swear word in Europe. But anyways, they definitely weren't in it as much as the trailers made you believe they would be. All in all, though, it wasn't a bad movie. It's definitely a must-see for Transformer fans. And if you like action movies, it's probably a pretty good movie, too, for you. But if you're not a fan of Michael Bay, if you're not a fan of Michael Bay's portrayal of the Transformers, then you could probably skip this movie. I think that this movie was the best action movie of the year. Personally, I still like Captain America more than any of the films I've seen this year, which was only this one, Captain America, X-Men, and Spider-Man. But yeah, Transformers wasn't bad. It wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't bad at all. It was definitely, I would say that this movie was definitely better than 2 and 3. I don't know if I'd say it was better than the first one, but it was definitely a step up from Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon. So anyways, this has been my review of Transformers Age of Extinction. Thank you for watching.